Good midday, good midday, good midday, good midday. It is a wonderful day in the neighborhood. Can you believe this weather? Can you believe what is going on? Can you believe it got cold? Now it's hot. Hey Sheila, how are you? And it's gonna be hot and hotter. Excuse me. And I'm like, my God, my God, my God, my God. But guess what? This is the day the Lord has made. We shall rejoice and be glad in it because it is a marvelous day. Minister Sarah, bless your heart. Bless your heart for being here with us. And so we are thankful to God for each and every one of you that will be coming on to share with us on today. Sharon, bless your sweet potato soul. Good to have you on with us right now. Praying that God's bountiful blessings are resting upon you in an unbelievable way. Rhonda Fletcher, thank you so much. We had this time to spend together. I remember that from Carol Burnett. Had to get that out there. Deborah, bless your heart. Thank you so much for being here, and we are grateful for you, one and all. And as you are coming on board, we ask that you would do what you know we always ask you to do, and that is to share. Sharing is so important. Linda, Stephanie, and we just want you to do that if you possibly can, so that those persons whom you are connected to, those relatives, um, those people in your sphere of relationships will be able to receive what you receive. And so for that, we are grateful and thankful to God. So around about 2, 3 o'clock, it's going to be about 87 to 90 degrees. My God, no, I haven't drank my water. Minister Faye, Kathy, I haven't done it, but I will be, and I have plenty of it. And I want to make sure. Listen, Stephanie, not only was church awesome yesterday, but the past 2 Wednesdays, I'm going to post a little bit later how grateful I am. But did not those young people minister to us? It's been years since we've seen them, and they got out there and did their thing to the glory of God. Just grateful to God for that. Cora, how are you? Okay. Well, that's right. Make sure you're listening while you're driving. Glory to God. Bless his name. And so make sure you tell Anthony I said hello. Okay. And so we are just thankful to God for you, one and all. And so hit that share button if you don't mind. That would be just absolutely wonderful. Thea, how you be? How you be? Okay. And we will go from there. I'm asking that you keep um, the Axel family lifted in prayer. Pat Axel, as on Wednesday of this week, we prepared to celebrate the life of her son. Okay. Thank you, James. I appreciate that, knowing that all is well and good and we are rolling like we should. So keep her lifted in prayer. It's kind of a trying time for her right now. And so we want to make sure that we do that. That is overwhelmingly important. Well, I need to ask a question. Here we go, Cora. Don't say a word. You're driving. The question that I need to ask, and I think it's pertinent and relevant. I might get in trouble for asking it, but I'm going to do it anyway. What is your, or what was your, if it was your, or is your work ethic like? Ooh, I have talked to so many people over the years who, for the most part, try to figure out ways how to get out of work. Gaither, how are you? It is an amazing thing that I have come to grasp and to understand that you may not like the job, you may not like the position, you may not even like the people. But if you are working or when you are working, how did you act? What was your disposition? What was what did people really say about you? Oh, there's a whole lot of people, Stephanie, that work a job that they can't stand because it pays the bills. But the point is, and the thing that must be seen, Carolyn Williams, bless your heart. What is what how well did you work on your job, or how well or do you try to figure out ways to get out of working? You want the check, you want that check to show up on time. If they are ever late on a check, where my money? And I'm not saying everybody is like that, but the numbers that I have run into sometimes seem to be rather astronomical. And the thing is, and I love my job. Matter of fact, when I first started working at Goodyear, because you have to start at the at the ground level, and so I worked in the mail room, and they would give me the worst route. And in case you didn't know what that route was through the factory. And the factories, whether it was summer or winter, were always hot. Rubber factories were smoking. Okay. And I'd have to push that cart through there and deliver that mail. And I'm dating myself because it's a long time ago. and I would do it, and I would deliver that mail. Doe, bless you for being here. And I would be courteous and kind and sweaty and hot, and watching out for the rats. Yeah, they had different kind of rats in the rubber factories, and just doing what needed to be done, and have to do that, and then go over into another area where it had air conditioning, and then go back through and do all of that kind of stuff. But it was always the attitude, and it was because of the attitude. I didn't go through there grumbling and being mean and nasty. I went through there. One, I was grateful that I had a job like that, because even working in the mailroom, you made pretty good money. And so the jobs that I had before were flipping hamburgers and selling shoes. And there's nothing wrong with that. You can make a living on that. But what I am saying, and it when I got into Goodyear, it provided benefits. It did all kinds of stuff. And here's the thing, Timothy, that people didn't, or I didn't really recognize, is that the people that I delivered the mail to noticed the difference in my attitude and other people. I always tried to be cheerful, even if I couldn't stand it. If I was melting, I did what I needed to do. Why? Because, as I saw a few of you say, it paid the bills. It provided what I needed. And it was also an opportunity, because many people don't want to start at the bottom. They want to start at the top. But what is your attitude, and how you going to act? And so after that, people notice me. They notice my work ethic. Number one, my dad taught us that there's just a certain way we're supposed to carry ourselves. My dad taught me, if you're supposed to be at work at 8 o'clock, you get there at 7:30. That's what my dad taught me. He said, because you don't know what might happen. A tire may blow, something may go wrong, an accident can happen. And here you are constantly late for work. And after a while, late people get fired. Boy, and that's a whole nother conversation to have about how people all of a sudden get amnesia when they get fired. I don't know why I got fired. I say I came. Yeah, you came when you wanted to. But the perspective that I'm trying to deal with, and I'm trying to get us to understand, and it's in the Bible. Here's the part that's going to kill everybody. Pamela, it's in the Bible about how we should carry ourselves. And here's the funny thing about it is, many times if we're slothful on a job, we're also slothful to the Lord, because that work ethic spills over. Okay. But in Colossians chapter 3, verse 23, Colossians chapter 3, verse 23, we're going to see something. And what we're going to see is something challenging. Here is what Paul says: whatever you do, do your work heartily as for the Lord rather than for men. Jesus, help me to deal with this the way it needs to be dealt with. Whether it is a job, whether it is ministry, whatever the case may be, you ought to be doing, performing, and steadfast in what you are doing, because you are not doing it for men. You are not doing it for their accolades. You are not doing it for their that boy. You're not doing it so that they can say how great you are, because you are actually doing it for the Lord. Sometimes this is a difficult thing for people to grasp and to understand. Can I ask you something? Do you think God watches your work ethic? Do you think God has paid attention to how faithful you are to your job or to your ministry or to your church, or whatever the case may be? And the funny thing about it is, when we find ourselves in places where we are not faithful, it is usually because we've attached ourselves to a person who has disappointed us, or maybe didn't give us the accolades we thought we deserved. And for that, we become slothful. For that, we become despondent. For that, we get the I don't care attitude. You gotta remember who you're doing it for. You gotta remember who you're doing it as unto. I think that's the King James, New King James Version. As unto the Lord. Everything that you do, it's as if Jesus is your boss. It's as if Jesus is your supervisor. And it doesn't matter whether you like him or not, because the Lord is paying attention. Promotions don't come in the kingdom because of laziness. Promotions, okay, if you are faithful over a few, I'll make you ruler over many. And if you are not faithful in the few, ain't no many coming. God is strategically stringent concerning his word. If you don't care enough to be faithful to God, God is like, man, I'm gonna give this promotion to somebody else. I'm gonna give this opportunity to somebody else. I'm gonna let somebody else minister. I'm gonna let somebody else. And when I talk about ministry, I'm not talking about being up on a stage with a microphone. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up doors, I'm telling you right now, God will open up doors and opportunities because you have been faithful, irregardless of the that boy. Oh, that was great. Oh, that was fat. Regardless of whether anybody ever recognizes you. And most of the work that I did, especially in the earlier years of ministry, nobody said anything. Nobody said, oh, that was great. Nobody. Now they talk about it later, but they didn't talk about it then. It was expected for me to do some things without any that boy that. So what was my purpose? What was my motive? I was doing it so that God would be pleased with what I'm doing. When I worked at Goodyear, them people on the job, and none of them looked like me except for one or two. I had issues I had to deal with them, but I did it as unto the Lord. And God provided promotion after promotion after opportunity, because you can't always hobnob and I can't say it like I want to get better positions. It's just about getting the work done because you're doing it unto the Lord. I know this was not a shouting one, but what we fail to understand, and this is going to shock you, that when you die and stand before the judgment seat of Christ, you're going to give an account of every waking moment and activity in your life. Here's what God's going to do. He's going to show you what you did do and what you could have done if you would have recognized who you were working for. When it comes to ministry, who are you working for? When it comes to your job, who are you working for? When it comes to your family, who are you working for? Gaither, I'm just trying to get this across, because this is a tough nut to crack and a difficult lesson to be dealt with. But you got to remember, ain't no need in you looking for God to do something great in your life and you've not done anything great for him. You have not been faithful. You've not been consistent. You always late. And then we sing the song, he's an on time. Yeah, he's an on time God, but what about you? You want to hear him say, well done, thy good and faithful servant, but you didn't do anything well, and you didn't do anything done. And so that's the thing, Thea, that many people don't understand. God is recording our lives. And in the midst of everything that we do, everything we say, everything, what about the stuff we committed to and we ain't did yet? Ah, I gotta go. I got some work I got to do. I'm so sorry. But you know what? It's a two-edged sword. I can't always give you the shouts without giving you a perspective for you to take a look and see, am I really where God wants me to be? I gotta go, y'all. Y'all have a blessed day. Man, listen. I know I don't run over time. Get yourself outside and enjoy this weather. Get you some vitamin D from the sun and feel good about yourself that God has blessed you to see another sunshiny day. I got to go. Love y'all with the love of Jesus, who is the Christ. May God bless you. May he keep you, is our prayer.